France just won the Six Nations despite losing their best player through injury. After coaching and researching top athletes for over a decade, I've noticed many coaches overlooking this simple hack. So in this video, I'll show you how they train, what they do to be at their best, and how you can create world-class athletes. Now, matching visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learning styles to an instruction style is a myth. But expert coaches use this myth to help them in their practice. Google hundreds of videos, and this study also share evidence that why learning styles are a myth. Students were split into visual or verbal help groups. The visual group used visual help, and the verbal group used verbal help. But matching the learning style with the instruction style made no difference in the results. As a half-deaf, half-blind person, I struggle myself putting myself into any of these categories. I coach a profoundly deaf girl. Her learning style can't be auditory, so has to be visual and or kinesthetic. But body language, sign language, and even when we talk about kinesthetics, we are using our sight to move. When we look at the various different learning style models, it all comes back to one thing. Not remembering the sights, sounds, or feelings of the instructions, but the meaning behind the communication. Learning a skill requires doing the skill. Playing an instrument requires learning to music or feeling the vibrations. Solving math problems requires writing down symbols or creating a model for them to understand. Working together with a team requires running, throwing, tackling next to teammates. The England coach said,
"We play a game, we review it, and by the lunchtime of 2 days after the game, we don't talk about it anymore."
The learning style myth has helped elite coaches understand not to pick an instruction style to match a learning style. They create problems for their players to solve in practice. Ask them about what they tried to do and what they were focused on in specific moments. But importantly, they clarify the meaning of what they are saying each time they communicate. World-class sport is filled with technical and tactical information, tactics often being the hot topic, but even if all of the players understand and they do their jobs right, they can still lose. It is one of the reasons that sport is entertaining, it's exciting, but the elite coaches know tactics aren't whiteboard programs you give players and then they just execute like a robot. Here, the French player said,
Je pense que la clé de ce match et de ce début de match, c'est ce qu'on s'est dit, c'est qu'on voulait être connectés entre nous, qu'on montre une forme de puissance collective. Et je pense que ces séquences défensives nous ont fait rentrer dans le match et justement nous ont bien fait démarrer.
He's talking about feeling connected during the defensive sequences. The coach giving them all an intention, close the ball down fast, but they aren't all shouting to each other, nor can they see each other or feel each other. They are coordinating as part of a whole, as part of a team, each player making unique decisions about whether, when, and how to play relative to the situation. Practicing not the same movements over and over and over again, but what the player should pay attention to decide whether they can get to the ball, when to push to compete for the ball, and even how they push to get to the ball. Run straight or fast with a step to the side, or maybe just stay still because the opponent with the ball has done something which opens up another opportunity for them, changing what I as the defender would do. The connectedness relating to clear communication from practice about decisions with the team. Decisions are made constantly throughout movement, throughout behaviour. Each movement has an intention, be that get food or meet up with some friends or just hit someone really hard to get a rugby ball back. Some decisions are much more complex than others. I remember when I was training for the National League finals doing the same routine over and over and over again, and my coach was telling me all the mistakes I was making. Push this way, you need to squeeze that muscle over there and make this skill look nicer. But when it came to the competition, it was a completely different situation. We aren't robots. Having hundreds of people looking at you and judging you has an impact on the decisions that we make, on our behaviour. The Irish coach said,
"That's exactly what we're trying to do all the time, trying to build continuity in selection, but also build that depth and understanding and know-how and experiences that they wouldn't get playing URC rugby or European rugby." So
yes, we need to practice the game, but making practice representative includes the environment, the feel of a packed stadium. But coaches can't recreate a final match to win the Six Nations in practice. Elite coaches say
they've always want to get better and
to try and get them to be the best and then improve that level.
And the hack used to win trophies and create champions is to develop adaptable athletes. Problem solvers that can adapt to new situations. Players that can find solutions despite the difficult and unique problems the opponents will set during the game. But importantly, the coach creates practice environments which represent the game, encouraging simple or creative solutions, setting them apart from the rest. When you have a team or a player performing at the top of the sport, it can be hard to break out because the margins are so much smaller. But Luke Littler, at 17 years old, became the youngest ever world's dance champion. And in this video, I share the coaching tip which set him apart to get him the win.